Hey guys, Mike Byrne here. I just wanted to say thank you so much for everybody who's been reaching out the last 2 months. It's been brutal. It's been a tough fight for me, but it's also been really brutal on my family, and it's been a emotional experience. And I just wanted to say first of all that I'm so grateful for all of you that reached out, asked what you can do. My colleagues and friends in TAG, my fellow investors and other entrepreneurs, EO buddies. Just it made so much and meant so much to me that you reached out and asked, and I felt terrible the last week and a half or so. I've been reaching out to people, and each of these calls has been like an hour and a half, just catching up and saying thank you. And I still haven't talked to some of my best friends, my best man for my wedding, other people I just haven't reached out to. So I thought I'd do a video just to kind of do a quick update, and if you guys would indulge me with about 3 to 4 minutes, I'll tell you kind of the background, and certainly happy to answer questions on this COVID nightmare and how it affected me, and kind of my suggestions on how to beat it, what I would do differently. And then what I'd like to do, and I'm going to do this, several of you know I gave this patient warrior talk after I had a kidney cancer battle, and I think the lessons very much applied for the COVID fight and my survival once I got into the hospital system here down in Florida. So first of all, I just wanted to double emphasize the gratitude, and secondly, just hit you with a quick update, and then what I'll do is I'll pause the video and restart it and kind of go through the patient warrior, a bridge talk, and how it applies to COVID. Hopefully that'll help you, hopefully help my kids, and maybe it'd be worth sharing outside of our friendship and circles, and that's my hope, as if people can benefit from this. So the quick update was I got hit really hard by COVID about a little more than 2 months ago, and for about a week I was pretty sick, and then I was really sick. I was racked out for about 2 weeks in bed, and for a week of it, the second week of it, I was just shy of 103 fever. I knew I'd go in the hospital if I hit 103, but I was 102.8, and I'd take a bunch of aspirin, get down to 101, 102, and then back to 102.8, and that was for about a week. And I reached out to it was our friends the Shields, and some other some of you entrepreneur guys might know them, some other good friends that gave us really good insight, things like quercetin and other things that are just healthy to take. But I will I almost have to spell it out so my video doesn't get canceled, but I did take the same thing Joe Rogan took. A lot of people in the media are saying nay, don't take it, but they're calling it horse medicine, but it starts with an I and ends with ver and mectin. But I took that, and within 1 day was down to under 101 fever, and then 2 days later, after a second dose, I was down to 99.1, and a day later I was at 98.2, and I was better. I thought I was perfect, and after about 3 or 4 days I felt better and was walking around, kind of thought I was in recovery, and then even took a COVID test and said I was negative. I thought I was back and getting back to work. Told people I'm back. Let's get back to going with our calls and our investment calls and things we do. And literally had these blood clots in my these DVR, deep vein thrombosis, DVTs they call them, in my arms and my legs. So my left arm was really noticeable, and my right leg was not noticeable. My left leg was, and I just thought it was just from laying around for a while. I thought I'd be okay. And after about 3 days, I checked it out on the internet and realized what an idiot I should get into emergency care. So I went to urgent care, and they said, get the hell out of here. As soon as I told them I had these DVTs in my arm and I was a little bit of trouble breathing, they sent me to the emergency room, and I was in a bed within an hour, which I'm grateful for, but it's also because I went in there and I told them, hey, this is a situation, I've got these clots. I didn't just go sit in line, and they immediately had me in a bed within an hour. And doc came in and said, hey, your right ventricle's enlarged, you're riddled with lung clots. If you hadn't been in here in a day or two, you probably wouldn't have made it. And even if you came right in, it's still about a 30% fatality rate. So if you guys have any clots in your legs or arms, run to the emergency room, get somebody there, don't rub them. I talked to my wife and trying to rub my legs so they'd feel better. Bad idea. Just get to the emergency room. This is stuff that'll kill you. There were 2 people who died the week I was there. One was 22, one was 32. No other comorbidities, and they had clots. I think one of them got it from the vax, one of them was not vaxxed. Regardless, you get DVTs, get to the hospital. So I'm halfway through this update already. So what was interesting is I thought I was COVID negative. I'd taken one of those, I guess they call them the PCT tests, and it showed positive, and then when I was feeling better, it showed negative. And when I got in the hospital, they also did a deep drill to pull out the sample, and they said, yeah, sure enough, you still got COVID deep. And so catheters got a lot of negative side effects that many people say it's actually worse for you than having nothing. So the good news is I got out of the hospital after a week. They gave me two options when I was in there. They said, hey, look, it was a 30% chance morbidity. We've got two things we could do to go in and get these clots out. One is to nuke it from orbit and just give you these drugs, which would essentially risk a massive blood clot, a massive seizure in the brain, and because it would be basically blood thinner systemically spread out through your body, and that kills about 12%, maybe lower, maybe a little higher, depending on the situation of the patient. But it seemed pretty aggressive, and they do that in worst case scenarios. They also said, hey, we can go in through your thighs, put a catheter up, go up your bloodstream, and get into your lungs, and then just basically spray the same type of drug while they agitate it and pull the clots out. And that also had an additional comorbidity. And I said, hey, how about you keep me on the heparin and let's see. They didn't tell me outright that my third option was to wait and see if I'm better the next day or two. And I asked the doc and said, yep, how about we wait and see what could happen? He says, well, let's do that. That's probably a good idea. So I didn't want to add any additional bullets in the Russian roulette chamber, and sure enough, 2-3 days later, they did a scan. I was doing better. My blood oxygen was doing better. Things were coming back, and sure enough, I was out in a week. They put me on Eliquis, which is a blood thinner for those of you who don't know, and it was a lot in the beginning, and I had about 3 or 4 fainting spells where I just wiped out at home and just collapsed. So. But that's part of the blood thinner process. So I told my docs, I said, it's okay, we're going to pull you off half the dose. And then we went in for a CT scan, and they said, hey, you've got an inch long. I thought I was all done. And then they said, hey, you've got an inch long clot showing in your heart, in your aorta. So come on in, let's get another test. Let's check it out immediately. So this is the third time I was like, I thought I was done. I would go back to it. Went in for another scan. They did a scan immediately. I was a little aggressive to make sure I got the scan because I was borderline terrified that sounded pretty bad, getting a heart attack. I'm just 49 right now, so a little heavier than I want to be, but I'm a pretty healthy guy, I thought. Anyway, the blood thinner had taken effect on the heart, so by the time they scanned the next heart, that clot was gone too. So the good news is, in finishing the update here, I'm going to have to re-record this. This is 8 minutes of your time, so I appreciate you guys staying with it this long. But the reality is, I went in with my wife a couple weeks ago for kind of a post-hospital exit review, and they're like, yeah, you were down to 25 to 30% of blood capacity. You came in, you're about 70% now. You probably get up to 80%. It might come back, but you've got some lung damage. And it's kind of funny how it does it. It does in the upper left, lower, is that right? Lower right, upper left. And the enlarged heart is because it's trying to push more oxygen through less pathways in the lungs, and that lower ventricle is where the blood goes out into the lungs. Anyway, that's the update. So I'm okay. I appreciate everyone who I work with, your patience. I mean, it's been a long 2 months. I appreciate the teamwork. Heck, we even closed on 2 deals while I was in the hospital and dealing with this stuff. So that's great. We got a couple good things going on. But above all, this is about our community, and I've been less than able to communicate with everybody. And really appreciate your patience, your concern, and your support. It means a lot. And just that's the update. So I'm going to do a second video to this, which kind of combines a lot of the lessons from the patient warrior versus inpatient victim talk that I gave a few places. I think I gave it the first time at GOT, just kind of an update to my buddies. But I've given that a few times about how to fight for your health, and it makes a difference. It made a big difference with this COVID fight. It made a huge difference with my cancer fight, my kidney cancer fight. So I'm going to combine those two, and really probably just address it to my kid, but invite you guys to look at it and share it. And if you do have to deal with a medical emergency, there's some things that I didn't know, nobody taught me, that in my case made a difference between life and death, and running around with 1 kidney versus mostly 2 kidneys. Some other things like that I think are valuable. So I'm going to do that. And again, I can't express enough gratitude to my wife for putting up with, I didn't say this, I fired our nanny for not being really great to our kids 2 days before I went to the hospital. So she's been dealing with this whole situation in a brand new town I moved her to, with limited daycare, no daycare really, and she's working and managing 2 kids, 1 and 3. and she's been just heroic. So for her, my kids, and for you guys, thank you so much. And hopefully this was worth you watching. If you get COVID and you've got any challenges, reach out to me. Again, do strongly look at that IVERMECTIN, which some doctors are still saying is garbage, but other ones, I mean, for me, I'll tell you, it made the difference. I know I was smoked, I think. Without it, 2 doses, I was better. Okay, so I'm going to pause this and do a little abridged video that I'm going to dovetail to this and share it with you guys. And thanks for the 10 minutes here. See you on the tag calls, or see you around, or see you in the entrepreneur circles. Thanks so much, friends.